Hi guys, it's me Charmisse and I'm back with another video. Today I want to talk about the FAFSA, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about the FAFSA is because I've been out of school for quite some time, but I talk about all these different things financially, and they're not things that I'm as familiar with anymore because it's not something that I've had to do. But in other news, I recently started going back to school. I'll be attaining my master's from Brunel University. And I had to do all these things that I've been encouraging and talking to people about for the first time in about a decade. So I wanted to do a video about it as a refresher for myself and as a crash course for those who are preparing, again, for higher education. So a couple weeks ago, I had to do my FAFSA, and it was so interesting. So I kind of just took notes, and I'll be referring to those there a little bit below. I'll be referring to those notes and just kind of letting you know about my experience so that parents and students can kind of get prepared for completing the FAFSA in preparation for college. So again, I did the FAFSA a couple of weeks ago, and the topics that I want to touch on are completing the FAFSA, the master promissory note, the entrance counseling, the award letter, and I'll also briefly be discussing refund checks. So the first thing I want to talk about is just completing the FAFSA. Ultimately, the FAFSA is gathering all of your financial information from you, your parents in many situations, and it's going to tell you, unfortunately, it's going to tell you what they think that you can contribute to your own education. So the FAFSA, you're going to fill in all the demographics, who's in your home, everybody's income, the previous tax information, which I think is awesome. You can actually link up with the IRS website, and it'll transfer a majority of your information from your previous taxes, which alleviated a lot of stress for me because I hadn't done it in so long, and I'm a real adult now. So trying to flip from page to page, making sure that I actually fill it out was hard. But being able to link that information to the IRS website, and it pulls most of it over, only leaves a couple spaces for you to fill in. So I didn't have to provide any information about my parents because I'm going in for my master's and I'm a lot older than some people preparing for education. But if you are a high school student, 9 times out of 10, you are going to have to provide the demographics of both your mother and your father, their information, as well as their financial information. So fast forward to just finalizing everything for your FAFSA, you're going to get a confirmation, and that confirmation is telling you what you're eligible for and what your EFC is, which is your expected family contribution. So because I'm transparent and I'm quite the oversharer, my husband and I filed jointly, and I put in all my tax information, and my expected family contribution was a little bit more than $8,000. I don't know who thinks I have that, but that is what it said on paper. So in their eyes, from everything that I provided, I can contribute at least $8,000 to my education. In addition to telling me my EFC, you then can scroll down and see what you're eligible for. And for those that don't know, when you apply for the FAFSA, you're also applying for loans. So my eligibility was a little bit below. And for my program, I think, I don't have it in front of me. So for my program, for the whole year, it offered me, I think, $23,000 in loans. So I was eligible for the direct Stafford loan for like $23,000. So after that confirmation, there's 2 other things you need to do before the school that you've accepted to can send you an award letter. So let's talk about those things. The next thing that you do after you've completed the FAFSA and review all of the information, and BTW, the FAFSA website has so many different resources and videos and articles to give you a better understanding. It's just a lot of digging. Let's be super clear. It's a lot of reading, reviewing, understanding, and digging. So the master promissory note. The purpose of the master promissory note is to explain to you your promise to repay your loans and any interest or fees accrued to the U.S. Department of Education. Promissory note. I promise I'm going to pay, period. You need to sign it. And then it's going to go back to the FAFSA people, and then it's also going to go to your school. Or if you have an awesome recruiting coach or an admissions coach, you can forward your confirmation letter to them so the school will have it ahead of time. The next thing I want to talk about is the entrance counseling. That's something that you also need to fill out prior to your award letter. So the purpose of the entrance counseling is to explain to you your responsibilities and obligations in taking out the loan that you may or may not take out. So the entrance counseling is literally telling you all the things that you're entering into, but also providing you with all of your options. And I think when I was in undergrad, I really didn't see, it was blurry. I didn't see all of the options in front of me, but it's really interesting to look at it now, 10 years later, more than 10 years later, but to look at it now and to just kind of see, what these obligations really are. So the entrance counseling explains your student loan, how much it is, the interest that you may or may not accrue, and what you'll owe at the end of the day. You also learn about the loan basics, the fees, your repayment period, and when that starts. So generally for undergrad, after you finish your program, you have 6 months of a grace period before you're expected to make that first payment. And when I was in grad school, I don't know if that's changed. Before, when I was in my master's program, I had 30 days for a grace period before I was expected to start making those repayments. So you learn about your loan, you learn about the loan basics, and then it has a section that says free money first. And FAFSA encourages you to apply for grants and scholarships. It's encouraging you to seek the free money that's out there. And I always tell people billions of dollars goes to waste every year because people are not applying for the scholarships and grants that are out there. So I'm going to explain a little bit later, but free money first. Okay, and then it also explains the types of federal student loans. There's the direct subsidized, direct unsubsidized, direct plus, which a lot of people take out, and the federal Perkins loan. So those are the 4 types of loans that they introduce you to. And then it explains your loan limitations. Like for me, for my program, there's a certain amount that I would be offered. Same thing for undergrad, or maybe, Same thing for undergrad and some of the lower level degrees or certifications that people might be in school for. So that's the entrance counseling. So you'd have to review all the information, sign it, and again, send it back to FAFSA. It would go automatically, and you would want to forward that information to your school ahead of time if you can, or it'll automatically go after a while. The last thing that I want to talk about before I delve into the refund checks, there's my main 4, is the award letter. The award letter is going to be sent to you by your school, and you have to accept or modify it and send it back. So I took out exactly what I was allowed, and I accepted it, and I sent that information back to my school. It was just that simple. But I want to touch on the fact that you may be offered an absurd amount of money, and you have a choice to take it all because you will have to pay it back. Hence the promissory note and the entrance counseling. So whatever you take out, you have to be comfortable with that you will owe. So I would encourage you to only take out what you need. Make sure you carefully review the award letter. And if you need to make a modification, make that modification just so it's exactly what you need. And then revisit the conversation of that free money first. So I've talked about filling out the FAFSA, the promissory note, entrance counseling, and the award letter. I want to go back to the free money first. And I use myself as an example. I took out exactly what I was awarded. I took out exactly what I was eligible for, and it came in my award letter, and I signed for it. So it says that I'm comfortable in paying for that. And I want to just reiterate the fact that free money first. I did not have the time a few weeks ago to start applying for scholarships. And I know that I applied for a loan, and it's really hard sometimes to start getting those scholarships to roll in. But I've challenged myself to ensure that I finish this program with little to no debt. So yes, I did apply for a loan through the FAFSA, and I did accept it. And it's $23,000, and my program is 12 months. That means that I'm challenging myself to apply for scholarships on a weekly basis to ensure that I get some of that money to put towards the loans that I've taken out. And I also I'm going back and forth, and I apologize for that, but I want to talk about the refund checks. I took out exactly what I was awarded, and then I was offered a refund check in the form of a physical check or a debit card to use. I actually just had them mail me a check. And when I go into my summer program, I'm going to use the leftovers from my previous loan, and I'm going to pay towards that. And I'm just trying my best to do things differently than I did when I was in undergrad and when I was in grad school, because I was still pretty young. I only want to use what I need, and if I do have extra, I want to use it wisely. But on top of using that loan money, I have to, and when I tell you I have to make sure that I am looking for scholarships that are applicable to me, meaning a graduate student, anything that is out there that I find I've been applying for in hopes of getting those scholarships to roll in. So when I saw in the entrance counseling free money first, did I see that when I was in undergrad? Probably not. Did I see it when I was in graduate school? Probably not. So many students and their parents are busy trying to get the kids in school, so you don't really read the fine print and you don't see all of the resources that are right in front of you. Yes, I do realize that it's a lot of money people are taking out and they're in a hurry trying to get into school and trying to get settled into their classes. But a decade ago or more ago, I did not realize or see everything for as clearly as I do now. Obviously, I have a lot more at stake. I'm a mom and I'm a wife, and the resources are not the same for graduate students. So I have to dig a little deeper and work a little harder. But it's something that I'm just going to have to do. So in summation, I really just wanted to do a crash course in the FAFSA. I've had people reach out to me, and I didn't necessarily know all of the information that I could share because it was so far back in my mind. But having just done it, I think that if you have to take out loans, so be it. Sometimes it's the inevitable or it's the only option. But if you can challenge yourself and your family to make sure that you pay off that debt prior to you finishing your program, then I would say just do it. If you got 4 years to apply for scholarships on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis, I believe that you can do it. So let's just recap. FAFSA, you fill it out with all of your financial pertinence, and then you are provided with what your family should be able to contribute to your education, as well as a loan that you are eligible for. You then must fill out a promissory note to say, I promise to pay. Then you need to review the entrance counseling of all the ins and outs of the loans, and there's other information on options other than loans, such as grants or scholarships. Then once you've done those 3 things, your school of choice that you've accepted to is going to provide you with an award letter of how much you should take out for your loan. You should then review and modify if necessary and sign it and send it back. If you've taken out a loan and there's excess, you will be given the option to have a refund in the form of a check or in a debit card. Do what you need to do, but again, be smart, be wise, because at the end of the day, you will pay it all back. Interest will accrue, fees will accrue, and you'll be responsible for paying it all back. So I'm going to post the information for the studentaid.gov site so that you can review the information, and some of it you can have access to without even logging into. But there's brochures, there's videos, there's articles, and tons of information to help you better prepare for applying for the FAFSA, to tell you what to expect from the FAFSA, and to tell you how to proceed once you started school. The resources are there. You just have to have the time to review them. And if I circle back to being 18 or 19 years old, I was clicking and signing, trying to focus on school. But in hindsight, I should have at least learned what I was getting into. Now I know, and I know better, and I'm trying to encourage others to do the same. So thank you for watching. Please share, please subscribe, please like, and just make sure that you're keeping up with the information that I'm putting out. If you know someone who uses this information, please tag them or share this on your social media. And again, thank you all for watching.